like to have a bonus if we have very few people right now. So probably quickly, let me ask you very simple question. You can try to answer my question first. But later on, we still have a discussion. Today, I would like to share one news is Dyson. Dyson is one kind of most of you may know it's very famous, but not. Today we would like to talk about they want to discuss electricity car industry because they spend a couple of years and money to develop this kind of we call it EV cars, and eventually they decide to create this market. I will let you know what happened, and then you could see later I will ask you to divide the two groups, and one group maybe try to find out some reason to support them to keep working on this EV development. Another will talk about why they decide to quit this market. So maybe two groups will try to give me some answers. But before that, maybe we can try to, let me give you a short video, and then later you can give me one quick, I call it a bonus, because sometimes if I found, suppose we have 20 students here, but only half of you to stay here, I would like to encourage some early bird students. So, let's look at this video, very short, but I'm not sure about it. Then I will ask you a question.
Years after the devastating tsunami of 2011, Japan is still recovering from the natural disaster. In addition to the tragic loss of life, the country's economy was hit hard. The impact also influenced businesses around the world. Many of today's complex global supply chains have links to Japanese businesses, and the tsunami shocked plants and cut off the supply of components, materials, and labor. Some disruptions cannot be controlled. So what can business managers do to strengthen supply chains?
Research here at the University of Bath has looked at three main options for organisations. First of all, we have looked at controlling and managing disruptions, trying to prevent their occurrence in the first place. Secondly, we've looked at monitoring for these disruptions, trying to predict them before they occur. And finally, we're looking at how firms can create better responses when disruptions finally occur. In terms of control, firms have at least three options. First of all, they can seek to avoid the disruption hitting their supply chain in the first place. For example, they could relocate manufacturing from one high-risk zone into a lower-risk zone. We have mapped from 2000 to the present day around 2,700 macro disruptions. By analysing the disruptions and modelling their probability and impact, we can help firms understand where best to relocate their manufacturing. Secondly, firms can seek to reduce the impact of a disruption through adding extra capacity into the system by taking on alternative suppliers. They could also develop greater flexibility in their supply chains through interchangeability of products, processes, or even plants. In terms of monitoring, we've developed software that allows organisations to model their internal risks, but also to scrape data from the web, which allows them to track trends and therefore.
Okay, I will finish that, but later I will ask you a very quick question what are they doing? So it's kind of do I need to restart? No? Okay. After watching this video, I just ask you one simple question. What are they doing? So later on, I will give you the paper. You just quickly write down your name and student ID and just one or two sentences. Tell me what they are doing. I will treat this kind of bonus. So in general, everyone should get 1 point today. If you are stay here and some students may not ask for this, maybe they will lose this opportunity. So just quickly let me know what are they doing. Okay? So you can keep watching this video. I will ask you this question.
Predict disruptions before they occur. Finally, in terms of responding to disruptions, some disruptions cannot be predicted, they can't be monitored for in advance. So what we're trying to do is understand what factors drive a more efficient and effective response, all the way from detailed level contractual terms up to the design of the supply chain in the first place. Moving forward, we at the University of Bath are trying to push the research in two main directions. First of all, to create a better network understanding of risk and disruption, how disruptions ripple across these global supply chains from China all the way through to the UK, for example. Once we have an understanding of these rippling effects, we can then seek to try and manage and control those better. Second, we're trying to understand the manager better in this process. Managers have a tremendous influence on this overall process in terms of establishing risk measurements, in terms of establishing risk estimates, and even in terms of investment decisions. What we're trying to understand is how cultural values may systematically bias their decision making in this area of global supply chain risk management. The problem here is still acute. Over 85% of UK organisations suffered from some form of disruption to supply in 2011, many without the proper risk management processes in place. In future, organisations will be able to use the results of our work to build greater resilience and robustness into their global operations.
Okay, so let me quickly say something like that before. So first of all, please try to find out one paper. Do I need to give you more? Oh, okay. Really, one paper like write down your name and student ID. Like, well, I call this a bonus because like sometimes like I like to encourage students in the early first year. So you know, like this year, Japan has also like more than 10 typhoons, even more than 10. And you can find like that every one typhoon occurs, they will bring the tsunami or even flood or block the whole transportation system. So, which will highly seriously affect the whole global supply chain. Because Japan is kind of very strong economics around the world, maybe ranking number 2 or 3. Based on your viewpoint, how to treat this event? You know, like every year Japan has lots of typhoons. And every time when typhoon occurs, they will block the event for you can see this year they blocked the Tokyo Narita airport for twice. And how will you feel to solve this problem? Or not solve, maybe mitigate this problem to reduce the impact? How will you do? That's my simple question. Just write down 1 or 2 sentences very soon. Don't forget your name and student ID, because it is a bonus. Oh, someone's still here. Okay, please have a seat. I ask them a quick question. Maybe you can try to find out one paper, write down your name and student ID. We just watched a video. We talk about every year in Japan, they have lots of typhoon and lots of disaster, natural disaster. Those kind of typhoon and natural disaster will block the whole transportation system, which will also highly affect the whole global supply chain operations. My question would be, since the typhoon will occur and lots of times every year in Japan, similar to Hualien, and also and Japan also is kind of great economics around the world, maybe ranking 2 or 3 around the world. So how to avoid or like mitigate, reduce the impact of this natural disaster in Japan? How will you do if you are government of Japan? I would like you to write down just 1 or 2 sentences. Just give me one strategy will be fine. Don't write down a lot of words because later you have another paper need to write. Okay? So I will quickly finish this within 3 minutes. Okay, so don't spend too much time. one more minute. Don't write down another word, just one strategy. Very soon. It's a bonus, not a quiz or exam. Just bring some concept for you. Actually, I'm someone ladies. Next time I should give you like a whole book. And you go back home to read the book. Just kidding. I try my best to highlight the keywords in the textbook and the key idea. So you see the 90 slides, actually I highlighted the original book around I guess this chapter around 150 pages. I try to bring some keywords outside. So you see like the 90 slides here, I type in one by one, 7 years ago. Okay, so please give me back your strategy. Don't write down a lot of words, it's kind of just quickly going. You can just write down your names and then you'll be fine. If you do nothing, I would go back to my early stage, if everyone just ignore, do nothing, government do nothing. Every year they will have lots of economic news and bring lots of uncertainty for the business. Because everyone will expect during the summer, you may have some typhoon, but no one will give you like a strategy. That's terrible. And today, I would like to share lots of news, maybe major one. So first of all is this one. Okay, Dyson has quit the electricity car business. You could see I prepared 2 videos. Later I will start that, and one English news and one. If you want to get Chinese news, they will tell you what happened. So I give you 4 of them, but let's talk about this later. Starting from 2014, we like to talk about how Amazon. They try to move into China and eventually they decide to quit. And during that time we try to discuss what happened there. And I try to list several background information you can go back and read. But you can just know the results. Amazon spent more than 10 years, spend lots of money, want to develop the e-commerce platform like they did in the United States or even in Japan. And they have successful operations in different countries, but fail in China. What happened? You can guess. You can see in China, who is the #1 e-commerce platform? Alibaba, or even someone called Taobao, or even someone tell me Jingdong ranking #2. They have others. So you can see Amazon even cannot ranking within the #5. What happened? And this news we just talked about that. And also, this is the 3 strategies proposed by Amazon because they still want to fight with, in China to see if they can do some e-commerce platform. They try to develop 3 different strategies, but eventually they still fail. So if you are highly interested, later on we will move for the final report. Maybe you want to find out some interesting topic. I would say every group can try to look for some interesting case to do the detailed case studies. I know you are still working on your midterm presentation paper. I received quite a few papers within the past 2 or 3 days. It looks good because at least you start to working on that. And I tagged last week mentioned want me to make a list. but because even until today, this morning, I still receive some papers. I wish it's bad I will receive more after today, even during the weekend. So let me confirm everyone. So please submit your paper and let me make a list, because I don't want to update like every day. So starting from last night, very good, I received some papers. Hopefully I can receive more, and then I can make a list. And so far I will quickly give you a response. Most of you, I would say okay, and very few of you, I try to suggest you to find out another paper, because the topic may be a little bit biased and some other reasons. So I try to suggest you. But if I quickly screen like it looks okay, I would say fine. Okay? So let's see. And if I don't say anything, sometimes I'm very busy and just forget to say okay. It's fine, okay? But if I say something, means like something must be suggest you to switch. Alright, so this news I have no time to share, but I think it's a very interesting case. Like you can find out like Google want to move in China, but fail because they cannot fight with the Baidu. Google only take the market share 2%, less than 2% within the mainland China. What happened? You might be very interested in what happened. But for Amazon, they want to work on their e-commerce business because no one want to, leave the China market just alone. So they want to move some business there, but still fail. So you can go back to check. And I think today, like the first hour, I would like to finish some of my Nike slides because I have a lot of slides. You can see Nike here. I will try my best to go through very fast. Maybe I can finish like the 50 slides on the first hour. For the second hour, then I can just, you don't need to spend, you can easy, actually, very easy to read. Okay, let me start. So first of all, I think most of you are much more familiar with the logistic activities around the whole details. And some of you take my supply chain management courses, even know more. But even though you don't take that, I just quickly set up. Before we talk about the supply chain risk management, you better to know the details for each part. So some people try to make define the different steps around the whole logistic part. So we start from the supply chain design, then we go to the purchasing, we look for details, what should we look for more carefully. So I don't read the words one by one, but again, it's not that difficult. I highlight something here, and sometimes we talk about the inward transport, and some people talk about the inbound transportation. So mainly they have a different direction. Some from the supplier to the factory. We call it inbound. Outbound is from factory to your warehouse or even retailer. So we have a two direction, inbound and outbound transportation. And receiving, some people receive, even those for receiving, they will have some risk occur. And warehousing, definitely will have lots of the risk. For example, you assume you have lots of inventory inside the warehouse, but that's maybe not correct. What will happen? Maybe the data may not update every day. Maybe some inventory may be damaged or loose. So, every task may have their own specific risk. And sometimes for the stock control, stock means inventory. You can also consider how to control that. How to determine the safety stock level is one kind of risk. If you set a very high safety stock level, you may always pay lots of inventory cost. Still, you will have the shortage problem. Material handling, order picking will be fine. And outbound transportation, physical distribution will be also very important. Recycling, return. We also could talk about the reverse logistics, also very important. And even though for the communication, we need to communicate all your different stakeholders and partners within the whole supply chain. Why logistics is so important? I try to list several importance for that, and you can go back and check one by one. And I think you can read. I would like to highlight one thing interesting is the final one. Gives public exposure. What does that mean? You can imagine lots of straightforward importance for the logistics. As I listed before, And even though last time we talked about lead time and reliability, we try to reduce that. Reliability is very important for the logistics. And also last Saturday, we have one presentation. We invited one guest speaker to talk about how to maintain the reliability for the supply chain operations. And that boss told us sometimes people like to pursue the speed. What does that mean? I order something, I wish to receive it one day, few hours. But is that safety? No, definitely not. You can see the last week, we have lots of traffic accidents occur within the food pandas, within the Uber Eats. What happened?
Yeah, because
Please say.
this week I went to the city and there was a red light and the Uber Eats driver, he just like, zoom. I was like, okay, I know
Well,
you're
I
late.
find it's very similar in lots of countries. For example, I visited Vietnam before I go to Ho Chi Minh City. I saw lots of motorcycle delivery. They are very powerful because I think whole cities rely on this motorcycle-based logistics system, and they even can carry on people, not just for the cargoes. And traffic always congested.
Yes.
I took the taxi, and taxi driver, after 5 minutes we still stay on the same place.
Yeah.
So I mean, those kind of motorcycle is very good logistics system, very good in the city logistics. But still, we have something wrong. They want to pursue a speed, but not reliable. We talk about the reliability. What kind of definition for reliability? Every time you place the order, you will receive the order. That's the reliability. If you place the order, you cannot receive. Something must be wrong. And our main mission is try to reduce this kind of risk. So for example, if the last Saturday we have a very successful presentation, the boss mentioned he always asks his drivers, don't drive too fast. Make sure every time you can deliver your cargoes. And not always on time, but always you can finish that delivery. And he is very proud of his company like that. With the past 3 years, no accident. It's very powerful and strong. So I would say reliability is very important to maintain the whole thing. And the final one is also sometimes we think about a logistics delivery truck, they can do some advertisement. So we call it public exposures. They can bring the business reputation, painting something in the logo within the truck. You can easily identify maybe this is Evergreen, this is maybe Walmart, or this is whatever business. So they can also do some advertisement, not just for delivery. So traditional people will treat we just freight transportation, nothing special. Actually, you can do lots of important things here. And this one we talk about the dangerous goods. Last week we talked about nuclear waste. When you deliver these kind of things, they have special regulation. I have another course mentioned last year. We talked about 9 different kinds of dangerous goods. Some of you still remember. Okay. And what kind of risk some survey try to list it here. So in the future, if you write down your master thesis, maybe you can try to look for this survey to enhance your research motivation. You can try to remedy some, for example, remedy number 1. So you can see a poor quality of damaged goods. Maybe you will try to look for what happened. Maybe you will find your driver always throw out the customer's cargoes very, straightforward. So maybe you can try to see how to reduce this. And miss on late delivery, very common. You can see it's not just 100% because some events will have a multiple possible reasons. And also the longer lead time, also supply chain capacity constraint, always. So how to do that? How to reduce that? And in general, you can try your best to reduce all this. I think it's not that difficult to develop strategy. So just I quickly ask you, if Japan always have this kind of situation, how will you do? I think you can quickly to generate lots of strategy in your mind. So the first step here today is try to tell you, every time just try to cut tiny operations or tiny activities. And then based on each activity, develop each specific own strategy. That will be fine. Okay, so and here is the logistic risk management is not extra burden. So traditional boss will always treat this is extra efforts. But as I mentioned, just tell you if you can try your best to reduce the traffic accidents during the delivery, you can save lots of costs actually. Because every time the traffic accidents occur, you can imagine that number one, you have to fix your trucks, you need to pay sometimes you need to pay some penalty, and sometimes you need to pay more like the medicine issues, and also eventually maybe you have to pay some like the cargo is also damaged. So you can imagine if you try your best to reduce this risk, something will be much better. So those kind of trends recently in logistics management. So I try to list several of them. Hopefully you can go back and read. You want to? Okay, doesn't matter. I mean, it's not that difficult actually, but just list some of them. I think I try to list several terms and highlight something. This one we mentioned last year also, because right now you can find more and more countries try to bring some association. So North America, they have a new NAFTA deals within past years. New NAFTA means the United States mainly negotiate with Canada and Mexico. They have a very strong collaborations, and even for you can look for the Southeast Asia, they have more than 10 countries to build up another union. And Europe, certainly they have a Euro. So you will see lots of this kind of we call it association can mainly protect the members within this association could have a very good strong linkage. How to read this figure? What happened? So I'd like to give you some figure to see what happened. Horizontal axis is the time starting in 1998 to 2004. What else? What kind of value? Global electronic trade keep increasing. So how will you feel? And number one, we always talk about this. Everyone look these issues keep increasing. This ratio, but will this really affect the physical trade? I mean, everyone try to increase the e-commerce system year by year because they increase it year by year. But will they make the whole physical transaction disappear? Starting from past year, we talked about several cases. You can look for lots of the chain supermarket or chain department stores around the world try to close their business because the e-commerce increased. I remember a few weeks ago we talked about one with a chain shoes and chain shoe system, the Payless. They decided to close. So how will you feel if you look at this trend? Everyone just close the business. I think a few weeks ago we talked about this issue, but just want to let you know, this trend looks very severe. They increase dramatically. If you do nothing, maybe your business will suddenly quit this market. Ideally, I can quickly conclude most of the business try to do the dual way, which means they do their originally physical transaction, also try their best to do some electronic the e-commerce system. So for example, my good friends in Häagen-Dazs, although 99.4% they mainly sell their ice cream through the physical channels, but still they start to spend lots of money and time to working on the e-commerce to sell the Häagen-Dazs ice cream through the e-commerce system. You may feel it's crazy because the ice cream, very difficult to handle. You spend lots of cost, but they still want to try because no one really can guarantee the physical transaction will stay forever long. Okay, so just want to let lots of training in the logistic management. I think you can see lots of them. You can read very easy but I mean in general several things. Some people try to talk about we call it green logistics. What's the meaning of green logistics? You can imagine every freight truck, they will have lots of emissions. And how to avoid that?
Green logistics.
But how to do? Some people try to say slogan. I mean, last week we have another meeting with the government. Everyone like to talk about AI, big data, but how to do in the more details? It's a question mark. I saw lots of people try to write down lots of proposal and project, say, oh, it's an AI-based something. Looks very powerful, but do nothing, or very little thing. And my question will be very simple. How to make your thing become a little bit meaningful? So let me ask you a very quick question. We know like the whole environment, logistic activities and whole freight delivery will bring some environmental damage. What kind of damage? Number one, emissions. Lots of trucks around the cities, they have lots of emissions. What else? Noise. You know, they have lots of like the noise, and sometimes the parking will be another problem. Why parking? Street parking in the city logistics is always very difficult. You know, if the truck is very long, they stay, you know, if you look at the McDonald's or look at the 7-Eleven, the whole truck will just block whole transportation, whole traffic lane. How to avoid that? Just let them block.
Yes. We can bring a helicopter because it's gonna block it.
Well, actually, it's not. I would say we can. Yesterday we have another interesting news in Singapore. Maybe this actually I have lots of news, but I have no time to share today. One, you can go back and check. Number one is like not Amazon in the United States. First time successfully delivered by we call a small helicopter like in United States. They successfully do the first trial. I think that's a pharmacy. They try to deliver their cargoes, very few package, and do a first time trial successfully. Not Amazon. Amazon tried a lot, but haven't started to do a real delivery. This week they have a first trial. And in Singapore, they have the first trial successfully try to do a helicopter taxi to bring the people. So you can go back on to check just 2 or 3 days ago. And I want to share, but you know, I have 90 slides and need to finish today, so I decide, but you can go back and check. Okay, so quickly talk about that. So how to make sure we can have a very good green, we call it green logistics. For the truck delivery,